Hello and welcome to T Money Talks. In this week's episode, T Money is going to talk about what it's been like owning a car again. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Hello, and welcome to episode 28 of season 3 of T Money Talks. I honestly cannot believe that T Money Talks is already so close to the end. This is truly, we are down to the last few episodes of the season, and I gotta be honest, I'm very, very excited for this season to come to an end. I am very much in need of a break of T Money Talks. Not so much a break of T Money Talks, just a break of having to consistently just have to be on time with my podcast episodes. You know, towards the end, I always lose that drive towards the end. I'm always kind of just pulling my tooth and nail trying to get there to the bitter end, to the last few episodes, but we are finally there. We are finally coming to the end. The next episode to come will be the pre-season finale spectacular, and I cannot wait for that episode. And I'm going to try to get a guest on that podcast episode, since it is going to be the preseason finale spectacular, and then we will end with the season finale where I talk about the future of T Money Talks in season 4 and when that's going to come and all of that jazz. And yeah, so it's crazy, it's insane to think that season 3 is already coming to an end. It feels like it just started, but at the same time it doesn't at all. But I know I have big plans for season 4, which I am not going to talk about because I gotta save that for the very end, for the final season finale episode. But yes, this episode I'm going to be talking about what it's been like being back on the road, what it's been like owning a car again. Because I have not had a car since 2020. For the past 3 years, I have been carless. I have either been afraid to drive or just been recovering from my accident that occurred in 2020, and honestly is what led to the beginning of this podcast. Well, not the beginning, what led to the start of T Money Talks, what kind of it just lit the fire to T Money Talks was my accident, recovering, just being alone all the time, you know, not being able to go out much because of my foot. I was in a wheelchair and all of that stuff, and it's just to see 3 years later, now here I am, still sometimes occasionally have foot pain, but I'm running, I'm jumping, I'm doing all the things I couldn't do just last year, you know, yet 2 years ago, all the things I couldn't do I'm doing now. And now on top of all of this stuff I'm doing with my foot and how well I've come since 2020, I now have a car again, and I'm able to be on the road. And if I'm going to be honest with you, it's a little scary sometimes. It's a little scary being back out on that road, but I couldn't be more happy to have a car again. I couldn't be more excited to be able to take myself places, to go places, to see things, and just explore the world once again, because it has been so hard these past 3 years, not having a vehicle, not being able to go out, not being able to really do much on my own. The lack of independence in my life for this past 3 years has been really, really hard and very stressful. It's been quite the challenge. So I am very, very excited to see, I'm a little tired, but I'm very excited for what's to come with this new car, because although I am still a little bit scared sometimes to get back on that road, I am still excited for what's ahead. I know that having a car will push me to be driving again. It'll push me to get back out there, and that's something that I've noticed I have been kind of, I don't want to say neglecting, but I've been seeing myself kind of like become very much more introverted because I've been stuck in my house for 3 years. It's like the pandemic ended and we were able to go out again, but because I didn't have a car, I didn't have the ability to really get out and go places. It's been hard for me to get out, these past 3 years. So since having this car, which officially today, when I'm recording this on a Monday, it will be 1 full week I have had with this car. And I must say, since since the day I purchased this car 1 week ago, I have been basically going out every day for an entire week. I've been either going to work, visiting my girlfriend, visiting my siblings, or just doing something for the car. And it has just been so nice to get out of the house, even if it's just to run a few errands. It's not even all the whole day. It's just been so nice to not be in my room all the time. And I can't lie, I feel like I'm now going to have to recreate a routine slash schedule for myself because I've grown used to having no car and not really being able to go out much. So being able to doing my work has been very easy for me. It's been really easy to get all my stuff done because it's like, well, I don't have a car. It's not like I could go anywhere and do anything. But now that I do have a car and I do have things, it's like, well, I got to work that into my routine because now I got to find a job to afford my car more so I could have gas to go out and do things and more money to go out and do things, because with a car comes other responsibilities that I'm like, gotta start working again if I want to live, and it sucks, but it's what needs to be done. And I'm still absolutely going to be working on my music because that's another thing is I noticed is in January I kind of rested. I didn't really do a whole lot of work in January. Yeah, I wrote a new song and I thought about how I'm going to work on this EP, and I've planned a lot of things for just this year and what's to come for the following years for Now or Never, but I haven't really started implementing anything. And I feel like in February this month I have to really start grinding and working and just start, because I want to have my EP. I forgot this is supposed to be about my car and now I'm talking about music. I'm actually gonna put a pin on that topic because this episode is about my car and we only dive down that road because of I need to get a job for this car. But anyways, aside from getting a job to afford gas and be able to live life with this car, I also have plans. What was actually I don't know where I was gonna go with that. I'm so sorry. Okay, I kind of lost topic from because I was gonna try to go off onto another topic. But anyways, the moral of the story is not the moral of the story is, but as I try to get back on topic to what I was talking about, the main point is with this car, it's going to help me a lot more mentally and just help with my confidence back on the road. Because if there's one thing I've noticed in the week of driving this car and owning this car is this car reminds me a lot of my very first car I had, a 1991 Honda Accord. It drives the same way that car does. It feels the same way that car does. And the funny thing is, my Honda Accord was a white car and it had this little blue strip across the sides on both sides of the car. And my RAV4, my Toyota, is also white, and on both sides it's not a blue strip, it's a gold strip, but it's exactly like the same, like everything's the same on how it was on my Honda Accord. And it's just it's kind of cool, and it makes me feel a little safe. It makes me feel safer when I drive that car because it reminds me of that first car. And with my very first car, with that Honda Accord, I had a connection with it that honestly I don't know how to explain it other than that car protected me. I knew with that car, I knew in my bones that I was never gonna be in an accident, that car was never gonna let me down, that car was meant to protect me, and it was never gonna let anything bad happen to me. And I really felt that connection with that car, and which is why I fought so hard to keep it and I refused to sell it. And it took me so long to even move on from that car. It was just because I just felt such a powerful connection, and I was like, no, this car is meant for me. Me and this car are like one, It was really hard to let that go, but I am realizing that because my Toyota looks a little bit and it feels exactly the way my Honda Accord drove, I feel like I feel a little bit safer in this Toyota RAV4, not only because I'm higher on the road, which is exactly what I wanted, but because it reminds me of my Honda Accord, and slowly I could feel a connection. I got, well, not a connection, but I'm trying to bond with this car so that I could have that same connection and know that this car is also going to protect me. And on top of that, I'm also going to get the car blessed so that, like, even though if me and the bond take a while for us to really connect, I will know that at least having the car blessed, there will be that protection already within the car. And so then me just having a bond with the car like I did my very first car, it would just then strengthen the protection that the blessing of the car already has, you know? So that's my plan with this car. And I honestly am very excited, and I'm glad that I have that same feeling and that same vibe with this car, because I realized in the last car, the car that I had gotten in an accident with, I never really felt that connection with that car. And I don't know if it's just because that car was so much more newer than my 1991 Honda Accord, because the one that was in the car accident, it had a touchscreen, rear view mirror, side camera, sunroof. Of course, my Honda Accord had a sunroof as well. It had so much more. And I don't know if maybe because it was so high tech and I was used to just older cars, maybe that was why I didn't feel much of a connection with that car. But yeah, I don't know. That's just all I have to say about that last one. But with this one, with my Toyota, I do feel a bit of a connection with it, and I am excited, and I'm really glad and happy with the purchase that I had made. Now I feel like the only stress that is going to come is the stress of money and needing that to pay for gas and bills and everything else that is going to come. So that's probably the only stress I'm going to have, since I will no longer be having cabin fever and getting all crazy and cranky for not getting out of my house, because now I will have the ability to take myself out of the house. It's now just about having the funds to do it. And that's the thing. Money flows to me. Money comes to me endlessly. So I'm not even worried. Oh, I forgot to light my incense before I started this. It's all right. I'll do that after. It's something I need to do today, you know? I haven't done it. I haven't written in my journal since the first of the month, and I would like to write something down in my journal tonight. So yeah, that's something else I'm gonna do. But anyways, yeah, that's how I feel about this new car. I'm very, very excited. After a week of driving it, I feel very satisfied with my purchase. The car drives well, it feels well, and slowly but surely I am learning the car the way I learned my Honda Accord, because that was the other thing with my Honda Accord, was I knew that car front to back. I knew what it was capable of, what I could do with it and all that stuff. And now it's just about learning and doing that same thing with my Toyota. And I'm hoping it doesn't take me too long to like get the hang of this car, and by that I mean like knowing how much space I have behind me when I'm reversing and all that stuff. That's stuff I have to now relearn, because although I want to install a rear view camera for my car, I've realized that unless I get a rear view like mirror, and by that it's just most of them are just cameras, which I don't want, I will then have to get like a screen, basically a touch screen radio installed in my car to get a rear view camera. And I don't know if I want to do that, only because the car that I was in an accident with had the touch screen, and I know that when I first started driving again, whenever I would drive my mom's car, the screen was a little triggering for me, because it was like, oh no, a screen again. It reminded me of the accident. And so I don't know if it would be best, at least for right now, if I were to install a screen into my car, only because I know the accident is still fresh. It's still like recent. It was just 3 years ago. Actually, tomorrow on February 7th will be year 3 of that accident. And it's crazy to think that 3 years ago I was in a car accident, and here I am today with a new car finally on the road again, and just taking back my life one step at a time, because I still have it sucks because I wish I didn't have like reminders to remind me of that dark time, that horrible day, but my foot honestly is the biggest reminder of my accident, because since I have a metal plate and screws in it, whenever the winter time comes around, or it's gonna rain, or it's just cold out, my foot hurts. It hurts a lot, and that's a pain that it's like, well, you can't ignore it. And well, the only reason why I have the pain is because of the accident. And so it's just like it's a thought that cannot be forgotten, and it kind of sucks. And I feel like even if the pain eventually does go away, I still have the scar on my foot, which has gotten so much better. Looking at it now, it's yes, you could tell, like you could tell it's there. It's 3 years old. It's a 3-year-old. Well, not a 3-year-old scar, ha 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 ha. Because I didn't get my surgery till like March. I didn't get January, February. Yeah, I didn't get my surgery till like a month later after my accident. So that's a whole nother thing. But anyways, yeah, there's always something there to remind me of what happened on February 7th, and it sucks, but I am happy to say that even though it took a while, I am now with a car once again, and I couldn't be, well, actually, and I'm just glad. I'm glad that even though it took 3 years, I have a car again, and I was able to afford a car. And even though it's been a tough road getting to here, to where I'm at, to where I have a vehicle, I'm glad that I've made it. Yes, I wish it would have been sooner, and I really wish I could have had a car like 2 years ago, but that's just not how I work. That's not how I operate. I needed to really heal, and it's just the time has finally come, and I have decided that the only way I could better myself is by taking control of my life, and I start that by gaining back some independence. And with that, I got a car, and the independence now means me getting to go to work in my own car, to go see my siblings, my girlfriend, to go to the mountains, to go do anything I care to do. I am going to play the guitar, probably at parks, because I could do that because my trunk is so big. That's also probably my favorite thing about my car is my trunk, because my trunk is so big. It's the perfect size. I honestly kind of want to like put pillows and kind of like deck out my trunk and make it like not even like I'm laughing because it's like wouldn't even be a trunk anymore. It would just be a hangout spot. Like it'd just be another seat in my car. It's like I would have the 5 seats, and then in my trunk I would just have a chill hangout spot where I just open the trunk and you could just see the view to wherever it is. I think that would really be fun. But my only problem with that is I would then eliminate space in my trunk for things like when I go to when I do open mics and play shows and all that stuff. It's like, well, then I would have to take out my cool decked out trunk and to put in storage. So I don't know how possible that one is going to be. I don't know, now that I think about it, I don't know if I will deck out my trunk, even though that sounds cool. I mean, I feel like I would do it on occasions. Like if I knew I was going to go to the beach, I feel like then that would be a good time. Or if I was going to go watch the sunset or something, or like stargaze, or go to a drive-in, those would be the times to deck out the trunk. But I feel like outside of that, I shouldn't make it a permanent thing because I need space. I need that space in that trunk. Yeah. So that's all I really have to say about my car. And actually, sorry, no, I want to talk about what I did today. Despite, I don't know why I was going to say despite, but on top of everything I've said, I've mostly been driving my car around, like just to get it smog checked, get the tags, get it registration, all that stuff. I've done that. I've gone to my grandpa's house. I've gone to my girlfriend's house. But today, finally, I was able to take my car somewhere that I have been wanting to go. I got to go up to the mountains, not like some really far away mountains, just some nearby. Like it's right around the corner from where I'm at. It's not even far mountains, but it was just mountains nonetheless, and it was just so nice to be in nature, to just hear water running down. I didn't hear a waterfall, but we were near a river or a lake or something. I'm not really sure, but we just heard the flow of I'm going to call it a river, and it was very nice to hear. And it was very cold and windy, and I feel like the cold just made it that much better, because the trees, even though most of them were dead, where the trees weren't dead, it was just so green and so beautiful, and it was just it just felt so good being in the mountains. And I can't wait to go back and just go to more places in my car. And I'm just very, very excited for the future. And I know that this car is going to last me a long time. And although I don't plan on going anywhere on February 7th, that day I probably will get my car blessed, so that from that day forward, I don't have to be scared again that something bad's gonna happen to me, because I know my car will be protected and I'm protected, and that's what really matters. And that's what I'm gonna think about. And I don't know, I guess that's where we're gonna bring this podcast to an end, because now that I have mentioned that, now I am done talking about the first week with my car and what it's been like and all that stuff, because I don't really have much more to say, and I'm tired. And I also feel like if I continue on, it's not going to be that good of a podcast. And because you guys deserve the best, so I'm going to cut this podcast episode kind of short. But fear not, because the T-Money Talks preseason finale comes a week after this episode. I'm so sorry, but it comes next. It comes after this episode. It will be at least 30 minutes long. We are fingers crossed to have a guest on the podcast. I am going to make it happen. I'm going to ask. We all know who I'm going to ask, but I will leave it as a surprise in case it does not happen. But yes, get ready for the final 2 episodes of T-Money Talks. It'll end before the month of February does, so I hope you're ready for it. I know I'm ready for it. Alright, until next time, guys, this is T-Money saying live your life, because you are the only one who gets it. Alright, bye!